From UFOs to psychic powers and government conspiracies, history is riddled with unexplained events. You can turn back now or learn the stuff they don't want you to know.
And we're back with more strange news. This one's a little heavy and a bit of a whodunit. It's a story based in Pakistan, and it is centered around the Benazir Bhutto Medical College, officially the Shahid Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto Medical University in the southern province of Sindh in Pakistan. Recently, a fourth-year medical student named Nosheen Kazmi was discovered in her dorm, and it was ruled a suicide. And this kind of triggered a bit of an outcry because it's the third of this type of kind of suspicious suicide that's happened at this university in a relatively short amount of time. Back in September of 2019, Nimrita Shandai, who was a dentistry student in her last year, was also found dead in her room. And then in May of 2021, a senior medical student named Tariq Shahani was also found dead on the campus in Sukir City. They have like a satellite campus. All of these students, according to their autopsies, died of asphyxiation. Here's the issue. A lot of folks believe that the university is actually covering up something much more insidious than suicide. And the university's own hospital did the autopsies or did the medical examinations of these bodies and ruled it a suicide, despite there being reports that there was a preliminary investigation of one of the deaths that indicated sexual assault and strangulation. So there's kind of a outcry here in this community. Nosheen Kazmi was described by a member of Doctors Wake Up Movement, a person named Uzair Chaudhry, as being a victim. The quote goes on, "A victim of something the medical college administration fights to hide. We strongly reject the post-mortem report, and a neutral and independent forensic expert team is required for a transparent investigation." This original reporting in the States is from Vice by Ramal Farouk, and the only other sources I could find for this story were not in English and were from television reports, and there's some other articles, but it does feel like something odd is going on at Benazir Bhutto Medical College. Especially given, the conflict of interest of like doing the autopsies, at the college's own hospital. That just seems a little sketchy. And it goes on. I mean, like, even if it's not something super insidious, there are a lot of other folks who say if it is suicide, that there are real gaps in the mental health support that's offered, not only at this medical college, but just in Pakistan in general. The Vice report cited a study that uses certain indicators in societies as benchmarks for mental health, and Pakistan was very, very, very low on that list in terms of access to mental health, the stigmas surrounding mental health and suicidal ideations. And as we know, medical school and studying to be a doctor is a really long and difficult and arduous process, and there's a lot of potential for depression and anxiety and negative outcomes if you're already maybe predisposed to some of that kind of stuff. So
yeah, and a lot of kids don't want to go to medical school. Their parents are making them do it. That's
of course.
That's an unfortunate truth of all human societies. I would add also to your excellent point about the lack of mental health resources. I found that suicide rates in Pakistan in general are underreported to the press. Officially, a very low number occur. But then also we can't forget that there is a tremendous amount of violence against women. And that sticks out to me when you talk about sexual assault, which can end someone's career. It can end the victim's career, with the perpetrator walking free or getting a slap on the wrist. It's tremendously unclean.
And I mean, it's not that necessarily the evidence is there to support this quite yet, but the implication almost feels like, what if there was some situation where, whether it's a professor or some person in a position of power that's, perpetrating these assaults and then killing these people, killing these students, and it's being covered up. It could be a combination of actual suicide and that, if the report of strangulation and sexual assault, is accurate. But it's definitely something seems off.
Yeah, I agree. I don't even know what to say about this one.
I don't know either.
Awful.
I think it just has the way all the facts are starting to line up. It just feels like there's going to be a follow up to this, and we're going to find out something quite troubling. But I hope not.
Yeah, but there's a chilling line that the Vice article ends on, which is a very important question. If these cases are indeed acts of suicide, then why aren't there suicide prevention? They use the phrase protocols, right? Why aren't there mental health resources more available to the students? And the last line of the article is, yesterday, it was Nimrita and Tariq. Today, it's Nosheen. We don't know who will be next. So I think the students and the residents of the area are sharing those concerns, as is everyone listening along with us today.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to wrap it up, I mean, the university did do kind of what would appear to be sort of a PR move of scheduling a mental health seminar. But a lot of the folks that commented for the story and that are involved in the advocacy for more mental health resources say it was clearly kind of a hollow attempt at checking a box, because they scheduled it like during finals. So there were barely any students that were even able to attend.
Yeah.
I know it's a heavy one, but it really does have the air of kind of of mystery to it, and I'm interested to see what ends up being uncovered here. But until then, let's take a break, and then we'll come back with another strange news.